I used a save password kind of thing, and then so it remembered and it didn't ask me here. Okay, so let me check. Yeah, this is the one thing. This is my IP address of a VM. Okay, so now yesterday we have learned about the something related to the APT package manager also, right? So this is any questions, guys, so far? Did you tried anyone in your local mission about the APT search and all? Okay, if not, please start practicing it on this weekend. Probably you would get much time, right? Okay. Now another thing which I want to show or talk about is in the Linux commands, which are more usable, especially when you are dealing with the remote missions, which does not have a UI, meaning uh, you have to edit some of the files. Okay, for that you have to use a couple of editors. Okay, those editors does not have a UI at all. Those editors will have only CUI interaction. For example, you might have known about the Nano, VI, Cat, okay, Vim, Jed. Okay, these are the some of the command line of the editors that we do use on our regular basis. If you ask me what are exactly we will use, most probably VI or VIM or Nano. These are the popular, everyone would be using it. These are the command line editors. I mean, these are the some of the editors which will be useful, will be interacting with the files and the command prompt. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Someone is talking. Okay. Okay. So the main difference here is that, okay, the main difference is when you say here there are multiple editor files here, right? The major difference is, for example, you have your notepad is installed by default, right, in your Windows. This notepad is a GUI tool which will help only in Windows. Okay, now this is a capable of opening a file which contains almost 1 or 2 MB or 100 MB of a file. Okay, but it is not capable of opening a 1 GB of a file. I mean, of course, we won't have a 1 GB of file. At max, hundreds of MBs will be having. This file can't open it. Even though if it opens, it will be struck. Struck in the sense the notepad editor will be difficult in managing such a huge size of a file, because that's how the notepad library, the notepad tool has been built to manage a generic purpose. Okay, not like other using for the higher versions of or the higher management of a files here. But in case of Nano, right, Nano, I can't say Nano, VA is a good tool. I mean, it won't be struggle if you, even if you open if you give us some 100 MB of file or almost 900 MB of file, if you give to open it, VA editor will be easily managed to open and then navigate easily. But whereas other tools, right, it will be get struggle or little bit difficult to manage that files. That is the major difference. That's why VA is one of the editor which will be there default in every Unix and Linux system. Okay, so the difference is why you got this GUI tool is you simply just opening a file and then editing it. For example, if you are trying to open and then just enter, you are typing it and then you are saving it. Simple. What you have done is you just press the Control S and it is asking to save something, and then that's it, right? But in case of a Nano editor or VA editor, there are some commands. So for example, what I'm opening is, let me open there is a file, the log syslog. Okay, let me check what is the size of it here. I think it will be less only because we recently started the system, right? LTH. Please use LS. Can someone tell me what is this LS hyphen AL? Can someone please tell me what is ls-al? Okay, hyphen a is for all means including hidden files also, and list of it. Give me the list. If I don't give here, what does it mean is, for example, if I press here ls, what does it mean? It is just showing me the a list of content in a directory. Okay, I want this list as a, the content as a list, meaning line by, in a list format. Okay, in a list data structure. Now, if I give a is for all means including hidden files also. How do you know what are the hidden files? The hidden files will be the file name starts with a dot here. Let me show you here. See the difference here. When you say ls-a, ls hyphen l, that's shown only the three. But in case of hyphen a, when you add it, right, it has shown the hidden files also. The hidden files has been starting with the dot. Okay, why it was a hidden file? Because these are the some of the files, internal tools related to, for example, you have installed you have created a one user. By default, whenever you created an one user, there are some bash profiles and profiles will be there. These are your shell configuration files. What does it mean is, we shouldn't touch these files here, because these are all very sensible information on sensible scripts it will have. Sometimes what we do is, by mistakenly we may delete it, or by mistakenly we may edit it. To avoid such kind of a scenarios, what they have done is, by default, whatever the sensible or whatever has been required, right, that will be saving with the dot, dot files. I mean, starting with the dot files here. Even you can create a file and starting with a dot. For example, I can create a file called vi space Naveen here. What does it mean is, see, now the vi editor is open. What I'm going to do is, I'm adding some content here and then saving it here. And let me check whether I do have listed. See, Naveen was not there. But if I want to see the hidden file also, I would have seen Naveen also here. See this? See, I just created some hidden file. Similarly, you can create it. Okay. So whenever you display, whenever you try to navigate it, right, you need to get a, I mean, whenever you are using less, right, please try to use as much as information that you can get when you type a one single command. Okay, for example, we have just given a list and including all five. Now what I want to use is, right, rth, meaning give me all the files in a list format, including the recent, I mean, the order of a recent one. For example, here, say this, what is the time here? 2:14 here. The order is from the descending order here. See, based on, give me, where is this? H means for the human readable, which means earlier, let me show you here. If you see here, this is a something bytes. Okay, 3999808 bytes, and the size of this is 996 bytes, 220 bytes, 3370 bytes, right? Now when you say H means give me as a human readable, so meaning kilobytes. It has been converted into kilobytes, MBs. Okay, and then even if there is any file with the GBs, it will just show you whether it is MB or GB, which is a human readable, that is meant for the this one. Okay, and at the same time, RTH is for the, depending on the, I mean, the descending order based on the time here. For example, if you date is another command which you will be using to know what exactly the time and date for the system which you have configured. Now why I have executed is, I want to show, I mean, I want to see whether the files which has been displayed in the list format has been ascending order or descending order. So this has been a descending order, which has been, see here, when I executed 214, it was being displayed from the 213 as in from the last, which is in descending order here. Okay, this is the file which was been last, which have been created at the 1 minute back. VA-info, why it has been changed here is, we have used a VA editor. That's why there is something happening with the background of this VA related information. Okay, why did I mention this is, okay, I want to open one of the file called logs, syslogs. I want to see the size of a log file also. That's why I executed this. Okay, so this is the file which I want to open with the editor, but I want to know it is the size is only the 482 KB. But fine, let me try with this. VI editor, var log, syslog. Okay, this is the file which, what is exactly this file is, I want to show you how we can use a VI editor. For example, I have taken a syslog file. The syslog file is a file which will maintain all the logs of a systems, what is happened with the in our system. For example, this is one of the interview question you would be getting in a Linux concepts. Okay, what kind of a question they would do? They may ask you. I think someone also asked me yesterday. Can we see any error while logging into the remote mission from a client? Maybe we can't see the exact error on the client side, but in server side we can see. Let me tell you a scenario. You are able to ping, you are able to pingable to the remote mission from your local mission, and SSH server is running inside a remote mission, and the user is also allowed in the SSH configuration, but still you are not able to connect it. For example, the client can be a program. For example, right, you are trying, you have written a shell script, or you have written a Java program, or you have written some other program. Okay, or you have created a one user and you have shared to your customer to log into your server. You have to give sometimes, right, based on the requirements. So he's trying to connect it, but he's not able to logging in. So how do you debug that? You may ask your client use a -v for a verbose mode. So you will get a list of, yesterday we have shown you right here. So we may ask the client, for example, I'm a client, you are a Devops engineer. You have shared me this user. I'm trying to use this, but I'm not able to connect. So what does it happen is, you may ask like this, please use a -verbose and see, give me the debug information also. The debug information is also looks fine, but at server side, what you need to do is, you would be getting information about all the remote logging sessions also here. Not only the SSH, whenever you are trying to connect to this system and you are trying to modify something in this system, everything will be logged under this syslog file here. So this is one way. What you can do is, you can come here and then see, right, you can go to the latest logs here, and then you can understand what is happening. If someone is trying to logging or executing SSH command, right, you would see some data information over here. Okay, right? See, this is what I was doing is log sys here, right? This is me. What I'm doing is, I'm just going line by line each one, but I want to go the end of this one. Actually, I'm at end of the file also now here. Okay, what I do is, just bear with me. I'm mixing a couple of tools, because since we have discussed the scenario, I want to use how do we solve also. tail is another command line tool we will be opening. I mean, that is also one of the command line editor that we can use it here. See here, what I have done is tail -f. What does it mean is tail is a command. Let me show you. What does it mean is whatever the latest few lines of a file has been, whatever the latest files of a few lines means it could be almost 20 lines, so it would be displayed here. That's it. It won't be show you the live logs. Live logs means, for example, if I open here, see, it is still waiting for latest logs here. If this file got updated, right, automatically it will display here. So basically it will keep on listening the file when you use a tile command. Where do we use is especially while we are debugging any issues, right? And with the help of log files, we will open the log files in a tile mode of a live. Okay, so we will keep on doing it like this, and then we will get the information. Let me try to log in and see if I'm able to do this. Okay. Yeah, see this. There is a session got opened by a user, and the session is 8. So you would get information here. If something you're trying, if you are facing an issue at the while you are logging, some debug information you will be get, or you will be fine under this syslogs. This is what I want to tell you. Okay, here we have learned two things. Let's back to commands now. We have learned two things. One is a tile and another one is a VI editor. Okay, let's talk about the VI now, and then we'll come back to tail again. I hope you understand what I'm talking here and the scenario which I'm discussing. Can you please confirm? I want everyone's confirmation. Please let me know if you are stuck or if you are not able to understand the scenario which I'm talking, because it is an important when you attend an interview or when you join a company, right? The people or the situation, the scenarios, you would be getting something like this. How do you debug? See, your entire J will be, or your most of the time will be with the debugging an issue. How people or how your manager or how your team lead would look at you, meaning as a DevOps person, is they will give you a problem which someone is not able to solve. Or if someone is already been busy, right, they will try to give you and ask you to solve. Okay, so this is how they look at you. Okay, so you have to be, so for example, if we learn one tool, you have to learn with the some scenario, so this way you will easily understand how you can use. Okay, thank you. Confirmation from Sainath, Naveen, and Kiran. Okay, what about others? Please confirm if you are still able to understand. Okay, please. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm opening an editor called VI. What I'm doing is I'm opening, for example, I initially open a Naveen, right? Now let me open Yogi here. Or why not this? I have to shell.sh. I'm writing a file. Okay. What I'm doing is, what does it mean happen here is, if you give a file which does not exist, it will create. Otherwise, if you give a file which is already exists, it will show you that. Okay, now since I have shell.sh was not present in this directory, so it will automatically get created until you save it. Okay, now by default, whenever you open a file in the with using a VA editor, by default this will be in the not insert mode. Not insert mode means you can't write something. If you want to write something, you have to change the mode of this file, or by using a insert mode. I just press I here, and now I am started writing here. Okay, you are telling to VA editor, hey, I open a file, now I want to go to the insert mode. Okay, that's one extra key you have to give it. Now I want to save it. What I need to do is I have to press escape colon write. That's it. See, totally 84 bytes I have written and totally 7 lines and everything. This was a new file. It was not an edited file. Okay. Now, again, when I started here, again, it is into the insert mode here. Now, again, if I want to save, again, I have to use escape colon write it. That's it. Now I want to quit it. What I need to do is escape colon quit. That's it. Okay, now let me show you what we have done here. I mean, what are the commands exactly? There's this. Okay, vi commands in Ubuntu. Of course, it could be same thing. See this? These are the normal ones. See, -I for the switching to the insert mode. Escape is to switch the commands between that. W is for writing it. WQ is for the write and quit it here. -Q, I mean Q, I mean, the exclamatory mark is for the quitting and without saving any changes. YY is for the copying the text. Okay. P is for the, the pasting it here. So why this is a complex to use is because that's how it has been designed to maintain or to design to deal with the huge size of a file. But in case of a VI editor, I mean, in case of a notepad editor, notepad plus, right? It is somewhat difficult of managing a huge file size. Okay, that is the main reason how it has been designed. Okay, and one more thing is this VIM editor, right? VIM editor. Okay, VIM is also same. Only the difference is it will have some of the GUI libraries also will be get installed. Nothing difference here. Okay, so just it will give you a lot of other things also, meaning some colors, some ASCII characters that will help you a lot things. Okay, this is one thing. Don't worry if you are not able to understand here, because when you practice, right, it will easily understand. You need to practice it. Okay, otherwise you can't able to um, you know you can't able to digest. Because when I learn about the VI, right, first time I was totally confused because I did not practice it at the time. When I'm practicing it, I'm getting a habituate, like how do I use it, how to search, how to replace, how to paste it, how to go from one page to another page, how to go to the end of the line, or how to find a particular word, how to replace a particular word, how to apply a regular expression in it. So one by one we learned it. I mean, I've learned that way. When any scenario has come, the similar way you would also learn it. Okay, another one is tile we have learned here, right? What does it mean is a tile is also another command line exactly like a cat. It will display the content of a file. By default, when you don't give any of the arguments to tail command, what will happen is it will just display the last few, I mean around 10 to 20. I'm not sure exactly what exactly the how many numbers of it. But when you press shell.sh, it will just display the last few lines of the content here. Okay, but if you want to give uh, some number, for example 100 lines of a file here, right, it is just displayed. Since a shell does not have 100 lines, so what I do is var log sys, this one. So it has just give me the display of last 100 lines of a syslog file here. So the way have you given a argument is called, I mean the one is last number, I mean, the number is 100. So it has displayed the last 100 lines of a file here. So this is how we do use. And let's see, if you want to see the live of a, I mean, live logs of a particular file, you just give a present hyphen. I mean, you give an argument called -f. Okay. Now let me show you this. Again, we have seen here. It will keep on open your file in live mode. So if the file got updated, it will automatically show those updated message here. So this is a live mode of thing. This is definitely important, and everywhere we will be using this to, while especially troubleshooting it. Okay. Now let's see some more information about the help here. Okay. See the number of lines that we want to display. Okay, -f is just for the follow, meaning live information. I think even -s is for, what does it mean is when you give, okay, it's just simply -s for every 20 seconds, please update me the live logs. This is what is meaning. But if you don't give a -s and just only a -f, it will give you the latest updates whenever it is. But when you want to present for every 20 seconds or refresh kind of thing, you just need to press -s. I mean, you have to pass an argument called -s also. But you won't use it, but -f is very important. And another thing is the number of lines that you want to display is the also important here. Okay. Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay. Okay, sure. Another one is another which I want to talk about is the Linux. There are two important things called related to the ownership of a file, group of a file, the modes of the files, which are related to the ch mode and ch own here. For example, when you type an example called ls space -larth here, right? You have seen a bunch of information about a particular file. For example, you can take any of the file you are finding an information about something like this and this. There are multiple columns, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now the thing is we are seeing this information now. I mean, take an example of this. The first one is the first column of an output is representing the file permissions which contains, for example, this is a directory, this is a read, write, execute, rx, and in between there is a hyphen. What does it mean here is there are, if you count here, there are totally 10 letters here. Let me put it this way. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. Okay. So in the 10 characters, we have to think this way. I mean, to make you understand, I'm drawing this. Okay. Divide for the first letter and divide the first, I mean, this 3 letters and divide the next 3 letters and let the remaining 3 letters here. What does it mean is first digit or first character represents whether file type, whether, I mean, the file type, whether it is a directory, whether it is a symbolic link, whether it is a file here, that's what it represents. And the second 3 letters represents, right? I mean, for example, if you create any file, the file will have some owner and some shareable information also, meaning, okay, for example, I have logged in here as a learner here. Okay, learner is the owner of these files and all here, and remaining also, I mean, let me put it this way here. The second 3 letters represents the group that is been sharing this file. For example, these 3 letters is talking about a file called Naveen, which have been created. When I created this
Sorry
file.
to break you, but we couldn't see you writing anything.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I open a notepad, right?
But it's too
No.
slow. We can't see anything. We're just seeing the previous thing.
Oh, okay. So do you able
Yeah.
to
Now
see
we.
the web?
Yeah, now we can see it.
Oh my God. Thanks for reminding me. I thought you are able to see. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
Let me. Okay. What I've done is just now is I just ran a 10 lines. Okay. In the, I mean, 10 characters. I divided this. I mean, these 10 letters which have been drawn here. Okay. I mean, these 10 characters as I have divided like this. The first one represents the type of file. I have just created a Naveen right here, dot Naveen here, right? So I have taken that as an example. The information which is representing here for the Naveen is this one, right? Let me copy this. Yeah, I'll paste it here. So the first one is represents whether it is a file or directory, or whether it is have any symbolic link or soft link or hard link. Is it having, I mean, what kind of this file is about? Since if it is a file, it won't show you anything, it will just a blank. If it is a directory, right, you would display the a directory D letter here. Okay. If it is a symbolic link enabled, it will just show you the EL instead of MT or D, it will just show the limit. These are the possible characters, or these are the possible values for the first character. And the second three letters represents the owner information. For example, there are whether the owner has a read access, whether the owner has a write access, whether the owner has a execute access, I mean execute permission. Basically these are talking about the permissions. Okay, there are what kind of a permissions that we do have here. So read, write, and execute. Every file or every folder or everything will have a three permissions: write permissions, read permissions, write permissions, and execute permission. Okay, for each permission there is a some value here. Okay, for example, the values are, for read it is the 4, the values are read, it's value 4, and for the write it is the 2, for execute it is the 1. Meaning, for example, if you have read only access, means the value is a 4. If you have a read and write access, means 4 plus 2 6. You have a read plus write plus execute, means the value is 7. Okay, this is the information which is having here. For example, let me put, what is the Naveen has here? Only read and write here. First one is an empty, and the second one is a read and write, right? What is the read value? 4. And what is the write value? 2. And for an execution permission, he does not have anything, so it was an empty here. This is the owner permission. The first three letters represents the owner, and the next three letters represents a group. What is the value for a group here? RW again, meaning again same. What is the value for R? It's a 4. What is the value for right? It's a 2 again. So like this is the information here. Okay, this is the information. And now let's talk about the next three characters here. Next three characters is related to third party or others, right? So the three characters represents others or third party information, meaning who Other than owner and other than group, if someone is accessing, they'll come under the third party categories. Okay, I'll show you who will be the third party, and I'll tell you also here. Okay, what is the value for the third party here? Nothing. See, 000 something here. No. Read and no execute and no write also here. Meaning 4 empty and empty. So this is the value for these guys. Now let's talk about who is a owner, who is a group, and who is a third party. For example, I have logged in as a learner, and whenever I created any file, I am the owner of it. Who will be the group? Whenever I created any user in the Linux system, by default, with the same username, one group will be get created. That information you would be find here. What does it mean is the second, okay, the second column and third column represents the owner. The first one is owner and the third one is a group. Whenever I created a learner user, automatically one group also will be get created. Okay, and one group user, I mean one group also will be get created. So that is a part of a group. So similarly, for example, you have created there are some sudoers group. There are, if you install any of the software like MySQLD or Apache server, automatically one user will be get created, and at the same time group also will be get created. For example, whatever the file that you have created, if you want to access that file by the other group, for example, MySQLD or Apache web server, that information represents here. Meaning, right? Take an example. Same thing. When you install a Apache software, you need to restart a server. You need to configure, right? You have to be part of a group of that particular file. Otherwise, you can't edit it directly. So you have to be part of it. And even though if you have been part of that group, you should have a either read, write, and execute. If you want to execute that particular file, definitely you should have a X, meaning one permission here. The value of X is a 1. If you want to read, write, and execute, then the value should be 7 here. I mean, let me conclude this point here. Here, what I do is, what is the value of total here? It is a 4 plus 2, 6. And here is also 4 plus 2, 6. But here is a 1. Okay, this is the permission of a particular file here. To understand this one, right? There is a, I mean, to change this permissions, there is a something called chmod. You are changing the mode. Change the mode of a particular file or particular directory. Currently, this is the information. This is the permission that you do have. Meaning, owner has a read write, group has read write, and third party has only read only. Now, if I want to give a instead of read write for the owner, I want to give execute, meaning read write execute. And one is missing, right? If one is representing the execute here. Total value will be 7 here. Meaning what you are giving here is you are giving a read write permission, read write execute permission for everyone. First represents a owner. What is meant by a 7? 7 is represents the read write and execute. For example, if I want to execute only the read and write, only if I want to give only read only, just 4. That's it.
It,
If I
it
want to
was 664, right?
sorry,
The in last column we have 4, right? You kept 1.
which one?
661 you kept, right? In
Yeah,
fourth
right.
column we have 4.
In the
So
fourth column.
it was 664 or it was 661, because in fourth
Oh,
column we
right,
have
right.
4.
Correct. Sorry, you are right.
Yeah.
One, I mean, the first letter is representing a R. R means the value is 4. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. So this is where that we do change the mode of a file using a chmod here. Okay. Now let me do the same thing. What I want only this one, right? LRTH grep of Naveen. What I have given here is it will just show me the list of the files here, right? I have used another command called grep. Grep is for the filtering the entire output. If I don't
We
give
can't
a
see the screen.
sorry, somehow we are getting an echo. If it is not possible, you can chat. I can always listen. Okay. The column 4, yeah, Naveen, thanks. Right. Then it's a 664 here. Okay. Yeah. So now this is showing me the list of the entire file here. No, I want to eliminate everything except I want the result of only related to Naveen here. Okay. What is that? Okay, Naveen. Where is that happen? Where am I? Navi. Okay, okay, here.
We can't
Uh,
see your screen.
oh my God, what happened? I'm opening my terminal. You are not able to see. I'm sharing my entire screen. Are you
No, we
able?
can't. But
Okay, okay. I
yeah,
think it's loading. It's loading. I don't know
yeah,
why.
I can see now.
Okay, okay. So what I was trying here is that when I just displayed this content, I mean, use ls, it is displaying all the information. No, I want only a relative information related to only a one particular keyword here. Okay. So I just grep it. Grep is another command tool to filter out an output here. Another thing what we have used is a pipe symbol, meaning you are passing one command output to another command using a pipe symbol. Okay. We have learned two things here, the grep and the pipe symbol here. The pipe you would right, mostly when you're troubleshooting it or when you want to find some particular thing in the Linux prompt, right, you would pipe multiple commands here. Now we have piped only two commands here, right? And sometimes you have to use a 5 to 6 commands in a one line and then get an output, especially filtering out the information. For example, if you are reading a XML file or JSON file, if you want a particular keyword and that particular keyword should be matched with the numbers, some regular expression, right? You have to use a multiple combination of different commands and then pipe it, then you would be getting here. Okay. Now this is the information. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the mode to CH mode 777 of Naveen. Navi, sorry man, I have misspelled your thing, your name. Okay. Now let me check the, see, now it has been changed to read, write, execute, read, write, execute. Okay. Now if I want to change only seven means, can someone tell me what is that seven means?
Only you can read the file, read, write, and execute.
Uh, write and execute. And what does it mean here? 00. 00 means now I'm giving this. Let's see this. What is this? Mean, can someone tell me? Okay, no problem. I'll repeat it here. So what does it mean is here, when I say 00, the group means whoever has been a part of that particular group, he cannot even read, write, or execute. At the same thing, the other third party guys are also not able to read, write, and execute since we have given a 0. Where do we use this command is especially when we are, dealing with the service starting and all. For example, you have copied some jars. You are trying to start that service using a jar files. That jar files may not be executing properly. It is giving a permission error because that particular time other third party may not or group may not have execute permission. make sure if any of the jar file or shell file or .exe, .deb, .package, right? That file should always have a executable permissions for anyone that you have to look out about it. That first, if you are getting any permission, you have to come to this. Okay, what is the information it is having? Whether do they have any execute permission, either owner or group or someone? You would find all the information over here. Okay. The next one is ch mod here. I mentioned you, right? The second column and third column is representing the first one is a owner and the second one is a learner here. For example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the ownership of, there is a command called change own here. And the first argument is the group that you want to give, colon, the group name. For example, I'm adding to the sudo. There is a sudoverse group. It's basically, of course, we can't add directly here like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the ownership from a group of learner to sudoverse learner. Owner would be the same here. Okay, if you want to change the owner also, you change it here. Okay. Now, dot. So let's check what is the information. See, the owner got changed here from learner group to sudoverse group here. See, one thing is the group should be already exist. If it will throw an error if that particular group does not exist here. Okay, these are the some of the command, especially related to the ch mode and the ch own, change mode and change the ownership of a file here. Okay, any questions on this, guys? Let me know if you have anything. Okay. If not, no problem. You can ping me if you have anything. Now the next thing is which I want to use is net stat here. What is meant by the net stat is this is one of the network related command and even process related command, and to understand what are the processes running on a particular port or particular process and what kind of a protocol it is been using. Okay, this is a multi-purpose command. By using this command, you will understand network related, some of the process related, and all the information related you would be using here. Okay. Now, what is meant by what is this happen here is, let me go to the starting here. Okay. A Unix. This is a protocol. Currently, a Unix protocol which has been running, and this is the process ID. This is what the information. Since we did not work on the Unix part, what I'll tell you is, yeah, here is the information. Wait. Okay, TCP, correct. See this, since the connection which was being established is a TCP type, meaning when you do SSH connection, right? Internally, it will use a TCP protocol. Okay. What is meant by protocol means, I think you might have heard about HTTP, HTTPS, right? Similarly, TCP is also one of the protocol related to the network, which will be running on the network layer. And there are multiple protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, SFTP, TCP, Unix. Okay, and RFTP, which is a radio frequency protocol, is happening in our tags. This one, the cards that we do have, right? Our fast tag and some of the IoT protocols will be having, a lot of protocols will have. It will just show those what kind of a protocol it is, and whether is there any, what is the process here, and from where that is been getting established, and whether the connection is established or not. Here we'll get to know. For example, meaning there are 3 connections is established from this IP address. In this case, the IP address is my Windows IP address. Actually, our server IP address is 104. My Windows IP address is 103. That's why it is shown the list of process IDs here. Okay. Okay. Now I want to see, this is the information here. Everything is connected here. Okay. Let me, oh my God. What does it happen here? Okay, let me restart another server here. Okay, I'm back here. Next add, I have given a list of information here. Now what I do is I'll provide a couple of arguments called NLTP. What does it mean is all the list, all the number, give me the number, also give me the list format of all the T means TCP protocols, including process information also here. See this? I'll show you the difference here. All the numeric IP address of it. N means numeric IP addresses. L means listed. T means all the TCP protocols. P means process IDs. Actually, we should be getting a process IDs. It is not happening. Why? Because this learner user is not using a sudo here. So if you use a sudo, you would also getting a process ID also. Like what is a process ID, what is a program name, and all the information we will be using. Okay. What you have just mentioned is I don't want a process ID. I'll just use this one. So no process IDs here. If I want to display all the protocols, not only the TCP. So this is the information about all the protocols, including TCP, Unix. For example, if I'm running a HTTP server or mail server or SFTP server like port 25, 56, if I'm installing any of the server, right, it will also listed under here. Okay. This is how information. Now, what does it mean by list means? It will just give you all the clubbing thing. If I don't give a n, right, it won't give you the numeric format. So meaning everything will be giving under the DNS format. For example, google.com, facebook.com, we do have, right, that DNS information will be displayed here. Since my local VM does not have the, my VM does not have the DNS, that's why it is just showing it. Otherwise it will show in the DNS format also here. Simply what we have just give me all the numeric format of a list including TCP protocols and process IDs. That's what we have given here. Where do we use in the while learning? Where do we use in while working is especially when we are dealing with to find out any process has been started or not. And even if the process is started, what is exactly the process ID or what is the process name? In which port it is running? If you see here, for example, I want to know SSH related. See, just display these are the processes related to SSH. No, I want related processes related to the Java. I don't have anything related to Java. That's why it does not show me. If any of the Java application is running, if I just grab it here, right, I'm just filtering with the Java and I can see all the information. Now I want to something related this way. So it has just displayed all the services related with this. This way you can filter out to find out any process is running or not. Yeah. Okay. And like this, you can pipe it and grab the lot of information from here. Okay. This is especially to troubleshoot you if you want to know any process is running on a particular port number. If you know port number, you can search with the port number. For example, if I want 22. See, these are the 22 services is running. Services running on a 22 port number. Okay. And these are, for example, you can find whatever the information that you do have. Okay. Similarly, there is some other command also here. ps-aux. It will show a lot of information, including the commands also here. Okay. All the process IDs here. For example, let's understand the output of this. The user, which is running by a particular owned by a process ID. What is a process ID? This is the owner of the process ID. How much CPU it is been utilizing, how much memory or RAM it has been using. Okay, you can forget about that. This is about the TTY, means time to leave. This is another way of interacting, not TTO. This is a TTY. What does it mean is when you open any of the terminal, right, it will have a multiple TTYs, like It's exactly like a shell. We don't need what that. Only you have to be care about is the command. Okay, this information will be related to the, what does it mean is related to the network related informations. Okay, and what we need to care about is these four and this one. This is where we generally deal with that all. Okay, so this is the command init. Init is one of the process ID which was owned by a root user, and process ID is a 1, and 0% of 0.1% of CPU it is utilizing it. And similarly, the same way, if you take about, if you install Linux related, I mean Java related, or if you deployed any of the application, right, you would find a lot of information over here. Okay, so this way you can easily understand what is process ID running, what exactly the process ID, who is the owner of it, and when it was started. Like this, you can debug. Even you can also grab it here related to FH. Okay, these are all the FSH related processes running, and these are the process IDs, and these are the owners. Okay, this is where it was been started here. So any questions, guys, so far? I want a confirmation if you have any questions. Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nanda. It looks like you have been doing. I think Sandy. Okay. Maybe if you are okay, you can write it actually. What is saying is there is nothing like a head command actually. I mean, maybe there is something called a head that you can use. It will just display the first starting part of commands. Actually, it has been syntax here. Sandeep was asking, is there any command like a head? You know, right? What will show is just the head part of a particular file system here. I mean, the particular thing. Just only few part of few lines of a part here. That is the first starting, it seems. Okay, I think if you take the syslog, we have used a tile also here. Let's display the tile here. See, it has been displayed the content of a starting of a file, meaning if you see here 25th logs, it has been displayed here. When you see tail here, it has just displayed the last few, I mean, whatever it has been updated here. So there is a head command and tail command, and their respective arguments that we can pass here. Okay. Okay, any questions, guys? It's funny. Okay. Now, one more thing is on Monday, we'll be having one more last session on the Linux, which is almost all the related commands, especially the cron tabs, you know, some of the user management related commands, managing the processes using PS, some of the disk information related here, and some of the backup tools like tar, zip file, unzip filing, and user creation. These are the some of the major commands we would be talking on the Monday session, and by the Monday we will be completing the Linux part. Probably if we got some time, we'll talk about the GitHub that we are going to learn once it is completed. Otherwise, we'll be learning the GitHub on Tuesday itself. Okay. Any questions, guys?